Give Satan the power. You control this day. I'm going to close my doors, shut the blinds, and avoid.
I am unknowingly participating in a satanic ritual. I can catch a demon like I can catch a cold.
It says in scripture, like, this is the day that the Lord has made. And October 31st is not exempt from being the day that the Lord has made. And they hate their life before Christ so much that they want to go as far on the other end as they can.
The people that are directly underneath Satan's rule have to, like, if they're going to do something demonic, they have to, like, display it and make it known that they're doing it. Things that you see aren't necessarily just fantasy. I don't want to be oblivious to thinking true spiritual warfare and demonic activity does not happen on this earth.
Anton LaVey was the one that wrote the Satanic Bible in 1969. Did not believe in literal Satan.
Yeah, a lot of these movies are crazy, but like there could be some level of Satan saying, I got to show you my cards, here they are.
There's a moment where the veil between the living and the dead is really thin.
Oh my gosh, like, this is scary, and if I celebrate Halloween, then I'm not going to go to heaven. All right, everybody, welcome back to the City Light Podcast, where today we're going to be talking about how you're a sinner if you celebrate Halloween.
Right.
And this is Haley.
Hi. Happy to be here.
She's joining us today, and Brennan has a lot to say about Halloween.
Got a lot to say.
He hates it. You're not allowed to come to our church if you celebrate Halloween.
Yeah, we check your preferences at the door.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
See if you're in.
I think I'm kidding. All right, take it away.
Well, first off, I think the podcast has been helpful for a lot of people. I had 2 conversations yesterday where there was a first-time guest in church. Someone that goes to our church that listens to the podcast was telling the first-time guest about what they love about our church and the messages are helpful and practical, all the different things. And then they said, but if you are looking for more and are looking for a different way to like grow, you should really check out the podcast.
Come on.
And she said, they're funny. They like to play around and mess around, but the stuff that they talk about is helpful.
Yeah, I think my heart behind this, I think that's a fresh perspective that I have for this podcast is that, yeah, like on a Sunday, you're going to get the same, I guess, vibe every week. Like, we're coming to preach the word, and like that's what we're doing. But this is a space where we can get deep and we can get super serious, maybe even more serious than, or like more in depth about things than on a Sunday. But we can also show people that Christianity isn't like. You don't have to.
It's not rigid.
Boring.
It's not rigid.
Christians have fun.
Yeah, we have fun.
Yeah.
We should actually have more fun than the rest of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
That's a whole different podcast.
It is true.
So yeah, I'm excited to talk about Reformation Day.
Oh gosh, not Reformation Day.
No, but seriously, I'm coming at this because I think before. So I have a perspective that's maybe a little bit different than you guys and maybe even other Christians, where I didn't grow up in a super Christian home. So this whole conversation around should we celebrate Halloween, should we not, wasn't even in our, conversation. We just didn't talk about it. And I think when I first started following Jesus and in ministry and all the different things, I just kind of had the same approach of like, dude, whatever, like, who cares type thing. I'm a believer. I'm whatever. I don't know if my opinions have changed, but they've definitely been more cautious and aware as I've had children. And I know that's not just me because I've had 2 families in our church come and ask me in the last 2 weeks, what should we think about Halloween? And it's not a them thing. It's a parental thing.
You think that's always been a thing, or is that coming to the surface more recently?
I think it's not only Halloween. I think it's everything in culture and society. Yeah. There's a switch in your mind when you go from just thinking about how I receive something to how do I help put this thing that I didn't really pay much attention to and I'm mature enough to discern into context for a young child?
Yeah.
So my goal in this podcast is to not only give commentary, have conversation about, get y'all's thoughts and opinions, agree, disagree, but I really want to end with like, hey, as a pastor, talking to other Christians, especially if you go to our church and you heed any sort of biblical wisdom we offer, here are some steps I would take. Here's some wisdom I would give. So, that sound good?
Sounds great.
I thought it'd be fun, though, to start with two. So, by the way, if you're watching or listening, we're going to show 2 reels. We're going to put them in post so that you can see them as well. I have seen them. You've probably seen them too because they've been all over
viral.
social media.
I think these 2. If you show the reels that I think you're going to show, I think these 2 are a big reason that a lot of people are questioning.
Yeah, I know one of them for sure is super viral. One of them is maybe more niche, but if you're a mom, you probably most definitely have seen this one. So I'm going to show these. You 2 have not seen these.
Yeah, I definitely haven't.
At least before this podcast. You may have seen them on social media.
Yeah.
So I have some thoughts, but I want to get y'all's live reactions.
Okay.
So here's the. I'll do the more viral one first.
Take up as in terms of our hot spot.
Truth about Halloween. Halloween is the highest day on the satanic calendar. It is the most probably important day on the satanic calendar. It's considered a high day. It is also the night of the year where there is the most human sacrifice on the whole planet. So if we look at it in let's call it the popular culture aspect first. So many people think Halloween is about candy and it's about dress up, but they don't question the meaning behind it. So let's say, for instance, in a neighborhood or an area, there's homes that celebrate Halloween, where they put up the decorations and they do the pumpkins and they do the candles and the candy, those things, right? And it's fun. Let's say in a neighborhood, there is houses that do that. So that whole perimeter becomes one big satanic ritual for that whole neighborhood.
Wait. So you're telling me, because I've got them already up, it's September, there's skeletons, there's creepy stuff in our neighborhood already. So you're saying my neighborhood right now is cooked? Like, what are you saying there?
I love that reaction.
So I'm saying that in a neighborhood or a area perimeter where there is a few homes, that is already a set up as in terms of a hotspot for demonic activity. And anybody, whether they're Christian or non-Christian, that have open doors, that moves or lives in a neighborhood like that will be affected. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what do we do as Christians?
So, firstly, we make sure that we are in righteous standing with God, that we do not have any hidden sin or open doors in our life, that we are in a righteous covenant with Him. So if we can get there, that is a very good place to start. And then it is about praying, like being in serious prayer, that people who celebrate Halloween, whether they're being a Satanist or an atheist or someone having fun, that whilst they're doing that they will actually have a true encounter with Christ.
Truth about Halloween.
Okay, so that was probably the most viral one. Have y'all seen that before?
No.
I've seen bits of him speaking.
Okay.
This guy.
Okay. What are y'all's initial reactions, thoughts?
I think I actually saw somebody reacting to him saying, which this is a good perspective. I don't know if I necessarily love it, but it's like, why are we giving Satan the power to own this day? He doesn't have the power to own a day.
Yeah. And
so just because it is, even if it is a heightened day for demonic activity, like, okay, Jesus still more than that.
Yeah.
So to give to give Satan the power of like, you control this day. I'm gonna close my doors, shut the blinds, and avoid.
Yeah.
Is a little bit like, where's your faith?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't love putting up skeletons and ghosts and stuff in my front yard. Like,
yeah.
I think don't give him the power for the day, but also, why are you celebrating death?
Yeah.
It seems like.
Okay.
I don't know.
Haley?
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go off of what Ross said, I mean, it says in Scripture, like, this is the day that the Lord has made, and October 31st is not exempt from being the day that the Lord has made.
Yeah.
But I also think that there is a difference between celebrating death and, like, he even was saying, like, if you have a pumpkin in your house, then you're a hotbed for demonic activity.
Yeah.
And, like, again, not to
No,
make
pumpkins
light
are
of the
sick.
reality. Right.
God made pumpkins.
Right. Come on.
I guess he made skeletons too, technically, but
Well, yeah. And I guess monks did have skulls on their desks.
It sure did.
But that's a whole separate thing.
that was contextually a lot different.
Very, very different situation. Yeah. But like you think like witches or like, I don't know, what's another thing people celebrate around Halloween?
Divination.
Sure. Yeah. Like all the kind of like witchcraft, evil, death
like the vibe of the holiday is like spooky, scary, wild things happening.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, that's the thing that I don't love. Like, I get if you are a family that's like, you know, we don't ascribe to all of that side of it, but we still want our kids to have an opportunity to dress up and go knock on people's doors and get candy.
Yeah.
Like, because in theory, that's not a spooky thing to do. They're just having fun.
Well, and I think, and we'll get to it in a little bit, I think understanding a little bit of the history of Halloween too helps put this in perspective.
Yeah.
But I actually really like what he said at the end, because I think that's applicable to literally everything.
Yeah.
Where he said, make sure you're in right standing with God. It's like, well, yeah, I need that on a Wednesday, not just Halloween. The part about open doors, I think is good. I probably disagree with him on how easily accessible a door is to open.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. Like, you know, there's a whole. I don't think Christians should dabble in Wicca or anything like that. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But the idea of praying for radical encounters for people that are participating in that, I think is good. What I want to give critique to, though, is the idea that I am unknowingly participating in a satanic ritual.
Yeah. What?
because and this is there may be believers that wouldn't say it or express it this way, but at the root, there's a little bit of a philosophy that I can catch a demon like I can catch a cold.
Yeah.
And that is fear-based.
Right.
That is anti-scripture. And I don't believe that, even if I was way more radical in my Halloween decorations than I am, which we don't have any, just because, I mean, y'all know we're trying to get to Christmas, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
y'all
you
had a
already
Christmas
have
tree
your
up
tree
4
up.
months ago. It was freaking March, and you're like, "Hey, Merry Christmas!"
We love
Dog, we ain't get
Christmas.
to Halloween yet. I want to celebrate Halloween.
Which again, we should probably have a podcast on, you know, paganism and Christmas too.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I don't celebrate Christmas either.
But
Right. If you have a Santa in your home, you're going to hell.
If you have a Christmas tree, it's actually it's demon possessed.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I'm learning that right now.
If you get a fake one, the
Oh,
real ones are fine because God made them.
Yeah, we're
right.
we're
the
in trouble. Then.
microplastics and the fake ones.
No, it's there. If you look at the chemical compounds, it's Satan. Those are, source, trust me, bro.
Yeah, somebody fact check them on that. We don't have Gabe here to fact check.
Gosh.
But yeah, that part I disagree with. Also, and we'll get into this too, the idea of it being, you spoke to it a little bit, the highest day in the satanic calendar.
Yeah. Okay. Can I pause you?
Yeah.
What do you know this guy's credits?
Like his backstory?
Yeah.
All I know is that he's an ex-leader of the Satanic Church.
Okay. So if you saw this reel that we just played and you're wondering who the heck is this guy talking about this and like why does he think he knows anything, he claims to have been right in that satanic cult and understands how it all works.
Yeah. So that idea of it being of high priority in his former world, I don't think means that we give ground to that. And again, there's so much on the history of that. But so that's the first one.
Okay.
I want to show us the second one because the second one's a little bit more niched down, really talking about to parents and kids. Now, for context, for this lady says that she was an ex-witch turned Jesus follower. That's kind of her whole platform that she's built online. But you can tell she's very passionate about her perspective.
Things witches glorify about Halloween that'll turn your blood cold inside your body. Still want to participate? Hey, I'm Angela. I'm an ex-witch turned Jesus lover, and I'm here to save your children and prayerfully you in the process. Spells, curses, and chants. This is part 4 of a 5-part series. We all know abracadabra, hocus pocus, bibbidi boppity boo, abracadabra from Harry Potter. I'm going to do an entire video series on spells and curses that you need to know about this time of year. You don't know, but witches do know, is that these movies were designed to desensitize you and your children. They can make you believe that these curses are just fun and games. You won't believe that there's anything dark or sinister about it. In reality, in these movies, your children repeat it innocently. Things like Disney songs. A curse or a spell is a string of words that are designed to harm. And the thing about it is, when your child is repeating it, they don't know what's happening. That's the entire point of a spell or a curse. The person who's receiving the curse isn't aware. It doesn't diminish the power. Know this because Satan and his demons have power. They are obviously not as powerful as Jesus Christ, but they still have power to influence us. Cats chasing the chicken. Obviously, witches are involved in a lot of sinister activity. Sure, there are lots of things more sinister than people preying on your children. This is just some food for thought since Halloween is fun and innocent. Next time your child is humming a Frozen song or a Taylor Swift song, which I also covered in another video, you'll know that they're actually being cursed. Makes you see things differently, doesn't it? But don't believe me. What do I know? I was just a witch for 10 years who watched a woman die on Halloween. Trust your opinion. Trust the opinion of those people who want you to continue celebrating Halloween.
Okay.
You wanna take it off?
Well, I don't know if this is even directly related to her video, but the thing I got from both of the videos, which I could be totally wrong in this thought, but my viewpoint is they both came from, like, she was a former witch, he was a former leader of the satanic cult. Is that right?
Yeah,
The right way to say that?
They call it church. But,
my bad. But they both come from like the far extreme of the other way of living. And so part of me just wonders if this is one of those things where they're like, they hate their sin, they hate their life before Christ so much that they want to go as far on the other end as they can, which is fine. Like if you think like a former alcoholic probably is never going to go back to a bar, that doesn't mean that going to a bar is inherently a bad thing. And so I just wonder if they have so much fear and hatred and shame for their former life that they're now prescribing for the rest of believers that they have to stay this far away from it as well.
Well, I would almost come back at that though. If you had the perspective of an alcoholic and you knew that going to a bar was an easy way to become that, then if you truly wanted better for others, then you would warn them against it. And so, like, I understand the reason for the virality of these videos because there's some credibility, at least self-proclaimed credibility, and then there is an explanation that shakes the typical understanding of what we have for Halloween, just being an innocent, fun, spooky, blah 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 holiday. But if these people know anything at all, which I've been researching and studying, which is crazy, the fact that because Satan still has to submit to God to some extent. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because of that, and because of the demonic activity that definitely does happen on this earth, none probably more than any other day, but it's like the people that are directly underneath Satan's rule have to, like, if they're going to do something demonic, they have to like display it and make it known that they're doing it. And so what I've been seeing is that like in the media, that like things that you see aren't necessarily just fantasy. Like her Harry Potter, I don't think that Avada Kedavra, like obviously like if I say that to Haley and point a wand at her, she's not going to die.
Let's hope not.
But like I am a little bit more open to hearing perspectives like that because I don't want to be oblivious to thinking that true spiritual warfare and demonic activity does not happen on this earth.
Yeah.
So, and to know that like, yeah, a lot of these movies are crazy, but like there could be some level of like, I got to show you my card. Satan saying, I got to show you my cards. Here they are. And so like, not to be fearful of that, but to be aware that some of the things that I'm consuming, I need to be aware that those could be impacting my walk daily.
Yeah. I'll critique her the same way with the other guy. What is true? The scripture that she quoted. Satan is powerful.
Yeah.
And he's not, I think I said this in the spiritual warfare message. We don't have a dumb devil.
Right.
Like he is, I mean, he's the father of lies. There's a reason scripture describes him like a lion prowling. Because he's cunning, he's creative. So he does have power. And I think to your point, Ross, to be ignorant of that is in fact ignorant. But I do think one of my problems with not just her video, but videos like this in general, is when people say things like, and they say it in a condescending manner, like, sure, trust your opinion.
Yeah.
Well, you just spent 90 seconds communicating your opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and this happens in every other kind of gray area in scripture. It's like people have an opinion about something, and it could be a conviction. That's great. But to communicate your conviction and downplay quote unquote opinions as if the place that you've arrived to isn't based on your opinion.
Yeah.
That's the piece that is confusing.
Yeah,
to me.
the delivery, especially of the second video. I think I said that. I think I saw the first few seconds of that come across my feed, and I skipped it because of the manner that she was presenting it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a level of discernment that as believers we should even handle scrolling through social media, because there are all kinds of Christians that are communicating their opinions, like you're saying, but they do it like you have to discern, like, do I want to listen to you? Are you coming from a place of love? Are you coming from a place like, yeah, you can be passionate about something, but also be humble about it.
Yeah.
And so like I'm much more willing to give you my ear if I think that you're actually like trying to like actually help me.
Yeah.
Instead of just like some of those, it seems like are just virality seekers.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna say some really groundbreaking things that some of them may be true, some of them may be not, but I'm just gonna try to get views from this.
Well, and I get the appeal too, because what parent wants their child demonized?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for the uninformed, for the younger Christians that are thinking, oh my gosh, like this is scary, and if I celebrate Halloween, then I'm not going to go to heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me. I want to do a little bit of a history deep dive, and then we'll talk about next steps, practical stuff like that.
Next steps.
But
Next steps. Come to growth track.
Come to growth track.
Come to growth track.
Grow
We'll
out of
talk about
Halloween.
But I think there's two sides of every road. We've said this before, and there's a ditch on either side. And so you can have an opinion, have a conviction, but I think discernment is the thing that keeps us from falling into either ditch.
Yeah.
Ditch number one, I think, is the Christian that says it doesn't matter, it's irrelevant. There's no spiritual activity that's happening on this day. It's whatever. I think that's a ditch. Because to not acknowledge, because what they said about their former past, I'm going to assume it's true that that's the things that they're doing. So just to say that stuff doesn't happen is ditch number one. And you should just have zero thought, zero opinion, zero discernment about it.
It's important to research stuff.
I think the other ditch is to allow fear to dictate how you go about it. The scripture, the first comes to mind is God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So to just absolutely say, give all of the credit to the devil, it's his, whatever, I'm fearful, I'm going to, build a 15-foot wall around my kids and all that different thing, I think that's a ditch too. Both of them, I think, are based off of a little bit of a misinformation on the origins of Halloween.
Before you go there, I want to, I don't know if we really shared our personal opinion. Do we have to? I just think it's weird. No disrespect to anybody that celebrates Halloween, but I just don't get the appeal.
Let's hit it at the end.
Okay.
That could inform kind of what we do.
Bet.
So, do y'all know the story of Halloween before?
Well, see, that's the thing is, I feel like I was taught that it had something to do with, isn't All Hallows Eve something to do with it? I don't really remember the whole shebang.
Okay.
I've heard so many different versions.
Yeah.
I've heard so many people be like, it's a pagan holiday originally. It has da-da-da-da-da origin. But then I've also heard people be like, oh, well, there was Saint da-da-da, and that's why we have All Hallows Eve. And so I don't, actually know what's true.
Okay. So the actual time of year goes back to about the 3rd century. So it has its roots in a pagan festival known as Samhain.
Say it again?
Samhain.
Okay.
It was celebrated, Celtic traditions, stuff like that. The whole crux of the day was a belief around that during the seasonal transition, think literal seasons, there's a moment where the veil between the living and the dead is really thin. So it was celebrated in pagan tradition, and there's a lot of historical accounts that divination was practiced at this festival, all things occult and things like that were celebrated. So to say it doesn't have pagan roots is historically inaccurate. What some more mainline Christians or theologians have said in later centuries is they've said that Samhain also had a lot of child sacrifices. And they've attached that to the meaning of the original pagan festival and kind of just added to the severity of it. Number one, there's no historical evidence that that's true. So a lot of people ascribe that to the fact that around the 1700s, they got really the Puritan culture and stuff like that. So it has its pagan roots, Samhain. What happened when the church and Christianity began to evangelize the West is the church had this idea that as we're evangelizing, winning people to the Lord, we want to redeem pagan things that have taken over culture. So what they did is they moved All Saints' Day, which is a celebration of dead saints, to November 1st, which makes October 31st All Hallows Eve. And so Halloween is just a contraction of All Hallows Eve.
See, yeah. So So it's going back to the fact that we shouldn't give the devil the day. It shouldn't be his. we have the authority because of Jesus to reclaim things that might be from pagan root.
Yeah. So the thought was light infiltrates darkness. And if there's darkness, pagan worship, then we're not just going to evangelize the mind and the heart. We're going to evangelize every practice that they hold. What is interesting about this, though, is Samhain had no concept of Satan, demonology, any sort of like heaven, hell, God, demon type thing. It wasn't quote unquote satanic. Now we know divination and the occult stuff that, didn't just pop up. But the point being, it wasn't like it was a satanic holiday that we tried to take over.
Yeah.
Now, that's kind of how the church interpreted it historically. All Hallows Eve, All Saints Day, it's a day of celebration. We're going to redeem what the enemy stole from us. The problem is when you get into later centuries, around 18th, 19th century, is when you first see ideas and thoughts and fear around witchcraft. Because Wicca, that stuff like that, was just thought to be folklore. And there's not any like witch covens weren't even like historically fact-checked as being a real thing until literally almost the early 1900s.
Oh, wow.
Where there was groups of people that tried to, quote-unquote, reclaim pagan spirituality and start these covens. Okay. Even funnier, the whole idea of the Church of Satan, which I've seen a lot of Christians online talk about Samhain being a celebration of the Church of Satan. The Church of Satan wasn't even established until like the 1960s.
Really?
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
So you just said that...
Sorry, Satanism wasn't. The Church of Satan wasn't until, I think it was like 2013.
That's wild.
Oh, wow.
You said the witch thing like wasn't really proven to be a thing until like the early 1900s. So like the Salem witch trials comes to mind.
Yeah.
Like that was just thought to be a hoax. Not that people, went on trial and were killed, but that like people just always thought those people weren't actually witches.
Well, like later 17, 18, 1900s, there was a lot of mystery about it, a lot of assumption. Historically, what we know is no like confirmed covens, groups of people that would self-identify as we're witches and we do this type thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But Satanism or satanic stuff historically in the church was just a term used to label like heresy. and things like that. Satanic worship in the mid 1900s, Satanists did not even believe in a literal devil. They didn't believe in Satan.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So they would say they're Satanists. What they were really saying is they worship themselves. Self-indulgence.
Yeah.
Freedom, liberty, sexual liberty, stuff like that.
Was that just to like make Christians mad?
Yeah. They literally labeled it Satanism as shock value.
Okay.
So you say there's a deity that determines how you live, move, and breathe. We're going to rebel against that and say, no, we are the ones in control, but we're going to label it Satanism as shock value. And I think somebody will have to fact check me. I believe it is 2013 when 2013, the Satanic Temple was founded, which, by the way, is not even religious. It's a political activism group.
Yeah.
Which is, interesting.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
This is kind of blowing my mind a little bit.
Yes.
Which I don't know if y'all follow Bryce Crawford at all or anything, but he just put out a couple of YouTube videos. One was about a year ago. It was a part 1 of the 2-part video that he just released the second part of, and it was him, quote unquote, infiltrating a satanic temple, and he was basically explaining, like, they had is it called the Baphomet, like the goat looking thing, but it's like all just a bunch of creepy imagery that they use to symbolize the rebellion that it's not like they truly worship Satan. It's like they just don't like the idea of following God.
Yeah. Anton LaVey was the one that wrote the Satanic Bible in 1969, did not believe in a literal Satan. Satan was a symbol of rebellion, self-worship, and indulgence.
Crazy, dude.
And what historians will say was basically atheism with like edgy branding.
Edgy branding?
Yeah. To create
like the hot
shock
topic
value.
of atheists.
That's perfect. That's a great...
The hot topic of atheists.
Yeah. Literally. And so yeah, the Satanic Temple wasn't even founded until 2013. So with all that information in mind, you can see how saying that a little girl dressing up as Elsa is satanic is a little bit historically problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if the history is that the Halloween is truly to celebrate the saints, then like I still don't have we missed what it's really about to be. I mean, we're celebrating the dead. Is the proper way to celebrate the dead by putting a bunch of skeletons in our yard?
Well, no, but I would also, this is a wrench in it too. The Catholic Church also on All Saints Day, part of it informed their theology of the dead, which was that they need to pray for their deceased.
Yeah.
Mm.
So as evangelical believers, there's no need to pray for the deceased because they're either with the Lord or they're not.
Right.
So I don't think there's an idea or a need to celebrate the dead other than an honoring. That made Ross laugh.
Ross is
so
gone.
funny.
He's done for.
We need to go purgatory deep dive, dude.
Gosh.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think you can honor the dead.
Yeah.
But to celebrate it, I don't think there's a point. I also, Haley was saying this before we started recording. Like, there's an idea that kind of came into church tradition around the Desert Monk era, where they would have skulls kind of either on their person or close to them for the express purpose to remind them of the brevity of life and they're mortal.
I get that. That's a different context.
Yeah, that's a very
totally
different context than hanging a skeleton from your roof. But again, I guess we'll get to this. But anything else from that before I kind of get to like a practical application for Christians?
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, like what Ross was talking about, it's like, okay, the idea is to like honor the dead or celebrate the dead, pray for the dead, whatever. But you look at modern Halloween, that's not what's happening.
It's like a mockery of it almost.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's not happening anywhere. I'm sure there are plenty of people that are like celebrating in that way. But like, this is not an exact statistic, but let's say 90% of people, it's like dress up and go get free candy from your neighbors. And then, like, at least when I was a kid, we'd come home, we'd swap the candy, we'd like make bargains, and then we'd like watch a movie. And it was super chill and super lighthearted. And it almost was like a completely separate type of celebration than anything it could have been historically, whether that be pagan or like a Catholic celebration. Like, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
I have two questions. First is, why do you think, like when, I don't know, I think there are definitely different forms of media that go along well with different seasons of the year, like certain types of music that go well in summer and, whatever, like obviously Christmas vibes in the winter season. But like, why do you think a claim of Halloween is that the veil is thinner That's like one of the claims. Why do you think that like this month, October, late October, is so like, is it just because of culture that we all watch scary movies and that murder is just like Michael Myers, that's just normal for October 20th through 31st? Like, what is it about this time of the year that ushers in that kind of, is it just because Halloween exists, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a commercialization of Halloween.
Okay. That's I think that's a good answer. Second question, is Halloween culture in America consistent across the globe? I know, so like I had Spanish class in high school and we talked a lot about Dia de los Muertos. Yeah, and like it seems like that celebration is a lot different. Maybe some of the same aspects, but maybe a little bit more reverence and like a little bit more like meaning behind it, other than just, hey kids, dress up as Darth Vader and go swing a lightsaber in front of that dude's house and get some Milky Ways.
Yeah, very, very Catholic inspired. Like the whole idea, you know what an ofrenda is?
It's like isn't it like the hutch where you put like pictures of
yeah,
your dead
yeah,
family members?
It's a literal altar that is built where pictures of deceased ones are placed to not be forgotten.
I watched Coco. Come on.
Your culture is completely informed.
But that's the idea, which you could see stems from All Saints Day, that kind of celebration of the dead. But yeah, I think, which again, a lot of, especially in Latin America, heavily Catholic influenced.
For sure.
Like heavily. So I think that's kind of where the dead, skulls, skeletons thing is kind of
We made a
celebrated.
sugar skull in that class.
A what?
A sugar skull?
Fire.
Like you ate it?
No, like that's what they do. They make big
yeah,
sugar skulls and
yeah.
they decorate them.
Yeah.
Saying
Like a candy?
Your class, y'all made a candy skull.
Huh?
Like a candy.
I mean, it was sugar.
But that you ate.
No, we didn't eat it.
That's
I mean,
what I thought
that
you were
was
saying.
literal pure
It's like, all right,
granulated sugar.
kids, great job on your creations. Now let's eat them.
We would have been bouncing off. We would have died.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But like, do other regions, like Asia, do you think they have is it a Halloween? Is it consistent with what we do?
I don't know.
I'm interested. I've never really looked into, I've looked into religions of certain regions, but but cultural practices and holidays, I've never really.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That'll be interesting to know.
I wonder. I would probably say it's less, just because there's not such a strong Catholic influence.
I think we also have such a consumer culture that it's like any opportunity to gorge on some.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna take it.
Yeah.
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 Well, and any opportunity to commercialize something.
Yeah, Christmas is the same way.
Yeah.
I don't know if Easter is necessarily like that. Thanksgiving, I'm telling you, my least favorite thing about, I don't know how to put this into the box I want to put it in, but I hate that Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. I hate it. Like, let's be thankful for everything we have.
And they go spend money we don't
Yeah.
have.
The next day, go run people over at 4 a.m. to get a big TV.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. No, it is. It is interesting how consumerism has driven holidays.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, well, yeah, because you look at the whole calendar, there is always a holiday push. And you can see them like backstocking and swapping out displays. Like summer is a ramp towards like July.
Yeah.
And then it's a ramp towards fall. It's a ramp towards Christmas. It's a ramp towards Valentine's
that's just business.
Day.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But
Yep.
I wonder if it's like that everywhere else, or if everybody else is just kind of more content existing in changing seasons rather than having to buy to fit the season.
I bet in most first world countries it's not. Because there's money.
Yeah.
But Here's how I think a Christian should approach it, though. I got this from a pastor, and it's obviously from a pastor because it's an alliteration.
Right.
But kind of three. There's three options as not only a Christian but especially a parent around Halloween. You can either receive it, reject it, or redeem it. Those are kind of your three options. So receiving it, and again, I tell this to the dads in my men's group. At the end of the day, you're the priest of your home. So you set the pace for how your family perceives, walks through, celebrates, doesn't celebrate, different holidays and stuff like that. So if you're going to receive Halloween, participate in full tilt, I think you do it with wisdom. I think you make it really clear with like your kids.
Communication, yeah.
Communicate. Yeah. Do the fun costumes. I would stay away from things that are like
the scream mask.
Yeah,
that you can pump blood into.
Crazy.
I wouldn't dress. I don't have a daughter, but I wouldn't dress my daughter up as a witch.
Yeah.
Well,
things like that. So do the thing, but do it in such a way where you're giving context to your kids. Teach them how to be light.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think that can be applied to a lot more than just this, but inform your kids before culture informs your kids.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amen. So that's first option, receive it. Second option would be to reject it. And again, this is your conviction. If, like, for example, the lady we reacted to, she's a hardcore rejection person of the holiday. If that's where the Lord has led her, then it's not for us to be like, you're stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you are listening and you would say, we're just going to reject it completely, I would say that's fine. But again, teach your kids.
Yeah.
Put it into context. Not from a place of fear that we're afraid, because we don't need little kids walking around thinking that they can sneeze and catch a demon.
Yeah.
But teach conviction. Teach how you've arrived to that viewpoint. And then if you're going to do it, reject it completely, have a family night around it.
Yeah.
Celebrate All Saints Day or whatever it is.
Reformation Day.
Reformation Day, but honor the Lord with it.
Yeah.
So don't just turn off your front porch lights and
shut the blinds.
Say nothing's normal. Go to bed. We're just going to completely abstain, but do it with wisdom. I think my personal opinion, and we can get into personal opinions after this one.
Okay.
My personal opinion is the third option, which is to redeem it. Because I think that was the strategy of the church.
Yeah.
Was we're not going to let darkness dictate where light goes. And so we can redeem it. So I say participate in things for the express purpose of name another day on the calendar where your neighbors are as receptive to you having a conversation with them. Because it's literally culturally appropriate for you to go up to a random house, ring the doorbell, and have FaceTime.
Yeah.
Every other calendar, every other day of the week.
Dang, that's convicting.
Every other day of the week. Think about it.
That'd be
you
weird.
You ring a doorbell
every
and you're soliciting.
Every other day of the week, you're a Mormon. Or you're a Jehovah's Witness if you do that.
That's crazy.
Literally. Say, no, I'm not interested. But for whatever reason, on this calendar day, there's a space like that. So even if, and I'm not saying
can we go hand out invite cards on Halloween?
It's a great thing to do.
Let's do it.
So I'm not saying like you should go walk your neighborhood with a bag full of tracts and be like, okay, my goal tonight is to win 15 people to the Lord. Again, if that's your conviction, you got a grace for soul winning, go for it. But my approach would be, hey, I'm going to try to get to know my neighbors.
Yeah.
And Corey and I were talking about this, which even we have a little bit different opinions on this.
Yeah.
Is kids are such an easy, like, open door in the good way of, like, into conversation.
Yeah.
So, like, you go to a park, it's way easier for me to talk to a dad when his kid is also playing on the seesaw.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a natural thing.
Yeah.
So, I think Halloween does that. And as a Christian, here's the last thing I'll say with redeeming it, and then I want to hear y'all's opinions. Is I would try to make your house the brightest house on the block. And I don't mean you got to, like, throw all the decorations up, but have the best candy.
Come on,
like,
king size.
like sit out front, get some music going. Like, do something that makes kids and families remember, like, dang, that house on the corner.
My mom handed out apples and dental floss.
That actually doesn't surprise
But even
me in the
that is
slightest.
memorable.
Yeah.
Like, create a memorable moment, and this is what we try to do on Sundays, is we try to create memorable moments for people.
Yeah.
Create a memorable moment so that when they walk away from your house or your presence, there's going to be a reason that they think about you again.
Yeah.
So that's my opinions.
Yeah.
What are y'all's thoughts?
I would say for me, it's, I think it's shifting right now. I think that growing up, man, in Bowling Green, we have Pumpkin Alley. Have you heard of Pumpkin Alley yet? Mm-mm. So it's like this one street that I guess all the neighbors are like, hey, for Halloween, we go all out. Mm-hmm. And so it's like the whole street is just lined. They shut the street down on Halloween, and it's like you can hardly even get in. Mm-hmm. So that was like the most fun thing. We had one kid's house that we would always end up back at and hang out and, like you said, watch movies and just eat candy and hot dogs and chili and whatever. Mm-hmm. That was the night. And so that was fun because it was still like it was an innocent thing. It was wearing costumes that we thought were cool and being young. But then, like, now, especially as I started to like care about my faith, I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. We should take advantage of the fact that almost there is something to be taken advantage of here. But I just don't like it. Yeah. I don't like Halloween that much. Like, also my age is like what people are doing on Halloween. I just do not want to do that at all. Yeah. It's like stupid. Yeah. So it's not as fun for me now. Also, just I don't want to dress up in. I don't want to be Indiana Jones for Halloween anymore. Like, no, actually, that would be kind of cool. I could do that, but like, I don't know. I don't vibe with it that much anymore.
Yeah.
So it's personally like when I see all the decorations, it's like I'm also just not. I've never been like I don't like skeletons. I don't like.
Yeah. I don't like Halloween, like, theology aside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I just don't like Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like celebrating football season and fall weather.
Right.
I just don't get jazzed. Like, there's nothing about a Halloween movie that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch this.
I will say what are they? They're called Halloween, right? Like Michael Myers.
Oh yeah.
What are they called? The newest one, or maybe it's the newest one. It might be 10 years old now, but the original writer of that movie, I think, is from here.
Oh, wow.
Or
really?
Somehow affiliated with Bowling Green. And so it was like a big to-do when that movie came out. And
really?
I did go watch that, and I enjoyed that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can't.
But there's no, like, dude, like the exorcism movies, like, I can't do those. No. People stay up and watch The Conjuring on Halloween. I'm like, bro, if I did that any day, especially Halloween, I'm freaking out. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, for sure not.
No.
Haley?
I think my opinion is not even so much Halloween specific as it is like life specific, which I'm sure we'll get into this when we talk about spiritual warfare. But I just think use discernment on what you consume and what you allow into your life. And that's not just applicable to Halloween and October 31st. Like, that's just like life in general. Like what he was saying about horror movies. Like, the scariest movie I've ever seen was Coraline, and it's never going to get scarier than that. Like, it's just not going to. Like, I'm not going to watch horror movies because I don't want to welcome into my life the things that has the capacity to bring into my life.
Yeah.
And that's not even necessarily Halloween specific. But then, like, I don't know, what's other Halloween movies?
Hocus Pocus.
That one's kind of rocky for me. But like Nightmare Before Christmas, I know it's technically a Christmas movie. For me, it's always been a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. And I watch that movie every year for Halloween and Christmas. And so it's like things like that are super fun. And that's not something that I feel like conviction about. I feel is like allowing certain things into my life. And yeah, that's kind of where I sit on Halloween. I don't, kind of like what Ross said, it's not a fun thing to celebrate when you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to follow the Lord.
Yep.
Then
have fun.
Have fun, I guess. You'll regret it the next day, but
jeez.
Well, I love what Gabe said yesterday in his message. I don't know if he said this directly or if this is what I heard him say. Two very different things. But this idea that the Christian lifestyle is not about running and hiding. And I think just as a general practical kind of piece of advice, I would say with anything, we aren't called to just escapism and running and hiding. Again, that was Puritan influence where it's like they would use verses like 2 Corinthians, fellowship has no light, or light has no fellowship with darkness. And say, well, we're not going to be a part of that. The only problem with that is 2 Corinthians is written to a church. And so Paul is talking about inside the context of the church, people that have the light are supposed to have no fellowship with darkness. By the way, it's 1 to 2 verses after he's talking about don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. So he's saying, hey, Christians, don't participate in darkness. What he's not saying is, hey, Christians, don't expect the world to not be the world and that you can just abstain from living in the world. I think the idea that we're not of the world, but we are in it. Halloween is a great holiday to be missional with.
So. Cool. That's good perspective.
So.
And fall food is fire.
Caramel
apples.
Give me all the chili.
Pumpkin spice latte.
I used to...
Shout out pumpkin cream cold brew.
Oh,
come on.
Did you see, dude, Starbucks. I was watching a podcast this week, and it started out, the host was drinking out of a Starbucks cup. And he had a guy, so this the deep dive with Taylor Welch is what the podcast is. I sent you 2 of the episodes. They're both like 2.5 hours, and you probably haven't watched them.
Gosh.
But they talk about like deep end spiritual ideas that are very, very different than anything that mainstream Christianity talks about, and it's very interesting. Anyway, they were talking about the sirens, and apparently the Starbucks logo is based on that. And so like the intro, like they were opened up, and he was like, "Am I like possessed right now because I'm drinking Starbucks?" Like joking. It was really funny though. And the guy was like, "Yeah, actually, you are gonna die as soon as you finish that cup because it's possessed by a siren."
You had no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, but I just derailed the pumpkin, the fall food stuff. But yeah, chili's good. Used to hate chili, and then I got indoctrinated by my mother-in-law, future mother-in-law.
I didn't realize chili was a fall thing.
Yeah, you can't eat chili
winter
for July 4th.
Winter, well, yes, but like chili dogs, I feel like chili dogs is a very
that's a whole different category.
Do we need to make
like
a Skyline? We're making a Skyline run. We're gonna introduce Haley to Skyline.
What?
It's
I could eat chili dogs every day of the week.
Skyline is a chili place in Cincinnati area.
So it's far.
It's like 3.5 hours.
2.5.
You were making it seem like we were going to do this right after this.
We went to a conference in Cincinnati, and the food of choice before the car ride home was Skyline. That was a pastoral decision too.
It was great.
Wow.
I do not regret it.
It was a rough ride home.
I do not regret it.
Yeah, that's
I do.
heavy for a 3-hour car ride.
Anyway, go get you some chili. have a pumpkin spice latte
Come
and
on.
don't celebrate Halloween.
Yep.
Or do. But we thank you for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this, subscribe and like the video, give us a rating on Spotify. Send this to a friend that you know that wonders about Halloween, and hopefully this encourages them to see it differently. So with that, we're out of here. Bye.